Hello and welcome to the Benjamin Zulu Show. Now. Talking about you and your stingy behavior. Yeah. And we're going to start with Jan, who says that her mom always said, if you clench your hands, no one will stretch theirs for you. And then she continues to say, it hit me, if you don't contribute for burial programs, whether at family level or at work, mark my word, no one will do that when it's your turn. We give what we get. And Zoe continues to give us a scenario, and she says, I was having a conversation with some male employees in our organization, and to my surprise, they were like, I only purchase tissue paper and toothpaste. And mark you, that tissue paper they buy when school is closed. I was shocked. I was like, what about bathing soap? And they were like, I use what I get, even if it's powdered soap. I was like, do you love yourself? And they answered, what is love? These are people's husbands, and I was left wondering how they treat their wives. So the question today is, how does stinginess destroy, damage relationships? Powdered soap, Zulu.
To wash.
Ha! Bathing soap.
Listen, although this has not been emphasized enough, so that people think it's dispensable, something you can overlook, it's not a must. In fact, the opposite of it has been preached when it comes to men.
Okay.
People don't treat themselves, will not treat you. People don't give themselves a sense of class, will not allow you to use the family resources to implement it on yourself. People don't see themselves as royalty, dignitary. People don't hold themselves to a standard of dressing and living. Who can't invest in elegance will find it as waste when you try it. And there will be strife. Because I know that dress could have been 300 shillings and you bought it for that 1,200. Because this material is better, this more fitting, you know. And my wife spent a lot of time looking for a phone cover. The cover you put on phone would go to market and I buy it because none meets what she's looking for.
Oh.
And when she finally buys it,
yes, now
it makes sense.
Okay.
She spends so much time looking for a red shirt.
Yes.
Me, no red shirts have always been. No,
she's just red.
Do you have a red shirt? Send me one. No.
They're different shades.
When she finally bought it, I loved it. And when she mixed it, I've never felt like this is now, what is it? Class, finesse. I don't even know the price of that shirt. I don't want to know. I'm happy with it.
Oh my goodness.
The feeling it gives you is worth whatever was paid for it.
Yes.
Listen, this is not dispensable as not something we can talk about or you can live without. If you're a person who dreams big, if you're a person who is going somewhere with your life, if you want to have influence, if you want to have acceptability, people's skills and the competence in this life, in your career, in your life, in your friendships. The other day we talked about basic hygiene and etiquette.
Yes.
So today we are one or two of that concept.
We are upgrading. I like it. I love it.
So that time we discussed about those mannerisms that make you possible to live with. I mean,
basic, like there's no extras.
Exactly.
Basic.
Just brush your teeth.
Imagine
just
shower.
Clean up.
Shower.
Please.
Yeah.
So don't emit. You remember hydrogen sulfide? Yes. How would I identify it?
It's burning your eyes. It's burning everywhere. It's just too bad.
Stench of smelling eggs, and so part of what we're studying today is now advanced. What hygiene and etiquette did to you was to make you clean, basically.
Yeah.
You can get along with the people and you don't pollute the atmosphere. Today, you can't live on that only. If you only know how to shower, if you only know how to dress right, you still be limited.
Yeah.
For you to be largely successful, for you to build anything that you can pass on to your children, for you to have quality relationships, quality marriage, happiness, love, for you to have depth of intimacy, for you to have connection with your children, with your spouse, with your... Now, you need a sense of class. That one was basic hygiene and etiquette. Today we are on a sense of class.
Okay.
Now, you're not just showering. After you shower, get a good deal.
Yes, please.
Get a good cologne. Get a good shoe. Don't just buy a shoe now. We told you the other day to brush your shoes. Now we are checking the quality of the shoe.
Yes.
We say that you should get clothes that fit. Now we are saying the material of the clothes.
Yes.
The presence they give you. The other day we discussed about brushing your teeth. Now we are checking the particular kind of toothbrush, what kind of shine you have. Do you need a mouthwash? Do you need another kind? What do you need? Is that stain on your teeth that you need to attend to? Now we are talking about not just washing your face, but checking what detail makes you stand out.
Yes.
For some people, the eyelash does it, the lipstick lashes. What makes you, I understand there's something that is done here lasting years.
Oh, yes. So some of
There's
us,
an
we
art.
wake up like that. It's called microblading.
I've been educated severally. I never quite. When I'm told the budget, what exactly is being performed on such a small part?
What it means
to pay
is,
$200. What are we doing there? You know?
Yes.
And she was telling me for her face, that part does it.
That's it.
So she has thought of what makes her pop without wasting time.
Tell her I have a hookup. I have a link.
So, when you are naive, you think you have to overdo, spend time there, and that is not sustainable. Life moves very fast. Demands are very. You only have 20 minutes to prepare for the next show. You arrive, go. You should have thought ahead. What works for me, and I can do it on the go. You know, and I'm transformed.
Yeah.
You know, it's to say today we are discussing what now sets you apart, gives you respectability. Basic cleanliness gives you acceptability. You are a colleague who you can work along.
Yeah.
People don't complain to the HR about you. You chew right. You drink water right. You sip tea right. You don't blab with it. You don't. Now, we have talked about how you don't so don't put your hands in there. You don't do this. So we have talked, and neither do you the other side. So that was basic etiquette.
Yes.
It's another lesson. Please go watch it in case you missed it.
It is needed.
Two of them.
Yes.
Focusing on men, focusing on women.
Absolutely.
Today is universal, but it's to show you where it can hold you back from ever settling, ever winning a person's heart enough to dedicate their life to you. To marry a person is to dedicate yourself to them.
That's true.
To say there are billions of people in the world, I want you. Is to choose that person and find them the best you have ever seen. You only marry a person because the best you have ever seen. If you marry them for any other reason, because we got a kid together, because we got pregnant, because you stay so long, because I've been dating for 5 years. If the one you marry is not because they're the best, overall, when you weigh everything, this one is the best for me. This is what I want. I'm committed now for life. If you're not reasoning that way, it's a mistake and you regret it.
Yeah.
Not because we happen to have sex, because we have to be together 5 years. And I was telling you off air how it aches me to see a person who's wasted the years that he could have unleashed their essence to the world. In a silly relationship. God telling me I'm 26, been in a relationship for 5 years. This guy now is breaking up with him. Forget the guy. So you dedicated the most fertile years that you could have distinguished yourself. Invented your M-Pesa, invented your Facebook, invented your radioactivity, or unleashed the essence of your creativity. And distinguish yourself to a stupid emotional entanglement, which you are not even sure. The other day I asked people a very basic common sense thing.
Yes.
You plan to buy something 5 years from now, a house, a good car, something. Think of something 2 years. You can't buy it in the next 1 year. Next year, still I can't make it, but I'm planning on it. Give me about 2 or 3 years my savings. I'm working. I know I'll buy that piece of land. I know somewhere along. I know. They are arranging 3 million, even if it will be 4 million. By then, my circle in about 3 years, I'll get that thing.
Yes.
So think of that thing you're planning for 3 years.
What
if you see one today that you like? Exactly the Porsche, the car thing, exactly the 3-bedroom in Nura. Exactly. Think of that thing.
Okay.
3 years to come, but you see one today. Would you pay a deposit to commit yourself?
No.
Why? And you are sure you will buy it one day.
It is better to buy when you're ready.
Why? Because of many reasons.
Yeah,
that you just don't need to articulate.
Because I'm like, I don't even have the money. The reason I said 3 years is because I am saving. I have not saved enough at the circle, and you've just really caught me off guard. I know it's a prayer for next year, but you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not ready now.
Exactly. You may be sure you will marry 4 years to come. Then you meet a good guy today. So why don't you reason and say, why do you commit yourself? Why do you pay a deposit?
See, a car and a human being, he might be taken. So can the car.
Very good. People grow and markets change. The market of cars is changing. The market of the real estate is changing. The technology of houses is changing. And you're saying, by the time I'm ready, right now I'm exploring to get the ideas of what I might like. I'm just gathering data. I like this kind of cars. Oh, what about white? Or red? Okay, like red. What about blue? Which color do you say? Okay. You're just learning. When the time comes, you'll have gathered data of what you like more. Absolutely. But you're not committing. Why? Because I am changing, and so is the market.
That is so true. Things that you wanted 3 years ago, not the same things that you want. You're like, such a small dream that was.
You know very well you are evolving, and so is that industry. Yes. I don't know how houses will look like. I don't know which area now. What will have shifted? Which cars? This car will have grown old by that time. Can I get the one that came out just freshly? What about it? What about? No, you see, even where I live now, they're parking. Okay, I meant.
Yeah.
I don't have the space now for that thing. Not just the money, but also the space, my life. Overall. It may not accommodate that thing right now. It's not a priority. And even if you give it to me now, really, I'm not there.
That's true.
Why don't you think that way about relationships?
Because there was no Zulu before to tell us. Now we are here thinking
I
about
like this
it now.
girl, but I'm not ready to marry 3-4 years from now.
Yep.
This will be an entanglement. So I don't want to commit to a seller. Then I've started to keep promises, entanglement, stress, keep this. I don't want the stress. I want to journey that part freely. So that is all. And I told them, unless you can show me you have been diagnosed with a mental problem, don't tell me about many years as if it's an achievement. That's a reverse way of thinking. And ladies say, I'm sure this guy is a narcissist. We were together 10 years, but we formalized this year. So where are we discussing a narcissist? You have done your own diagnosis. What are you here for? So forget the diagnosis. Give me the particular. He can't take challenge. He always reverses blame to make it like me. From the time. So why are you still there? Who tied you there? Because you booked before you understood yourself, before you understood the market, before you took the time to evolve, before you are ready to purchase. When you're purchasing with precision, you have the time to compare options. You have the time to research and give it concentrated research input. You look into. When you are buying a car that month, it's all about cars.
Yes.
That month is all about that. My money is coming out in 2 weeks and I need to know which one is it. My money is out. I have the money now. Guys, this week, give me an off. Let me solve this. Because by that point, your life is asking for that thing urgently.
Yes.
And I needed to do a BCD. Okay, I got it now. I'm doing the window tinting, changing the tires, doing the accessories, guy. So on tomorrow it will be a garage full day. I've asked them to make sure they finish with it too. So on Thursday morning I can pick it. Isn't that how we think?
Yes.
So which other decision do you use? Drag along for years.
And a car can be stolen. You can lose it.
Yes. And so can you lose the relationship. So can it be stolen. So can the people change. So can you change. Yeah. So can you outgrow what you thought. Please, don't tell me 5 years, 10 years.
No.
You just refused to think.
Poleni, I apologize.
And we have done many shows showing how actually that dragged out way of thinking ends up in the wrong thing.
That's true.
You end up playing wife, playing husband. You end up giving your all, offloading before you arrive at the destination, being made a fool of. In fact, the worst risk is your identity gets entwined with that thing because you're not fully distinguished. You're fully formed. You are fully decided the path of life, fully decided the value, fully gotten hold of your feelings, fully manage your self-control, fully. And this thing starts indulging the thing you should have been learning how to control. You're having sex outside marriage, you should have been learning how to control yourself outside marriage. So you end up, even when it breaks up, the disciplines you didn't require, the emotions you never managed, the time you never took to learn, the places you never moved, the friendships you never made, the associations you couldn't make because you could not associate with the opposite sex without arousing jealousy with another person, the places you couldn't move lest you disappear from the person, the way you have to stay on network and holding phone even in church, you can't pray because if they call and you don't text, you have to jump out and talk because it's really you are God. The way you adjusted your life to be bottled in a place to remain available and connected to this person, at the time you should have been exploring, running wild and developing. For me, it looks like common sense. I don't get it. But I know why we like to get into it. As I tell you, the temptation, the sensation of love, the idea of being in love, and possessing that guy lest you never get another one like him.
Hey, they are rare.
Remember, when you replace anything with God, He is against it. Many relationships don't work because we replaced God with them. The time you should have been molded and immersed. Paul said, when God now released His calling on me, I withdrew to the wilderness of Arabia.
Yeah.
John the Baptizer went to the wilderness.
Yes.
Our Lord went to the wilderness.
Yes.
You have your wilderness. You refuse wilderness to stay in a relationship. You think it will be support. God, help my relationship. You replaced it with your training for your calling and you're expecting it to bless it. Anyway.
I'm like, what is the topic today? Because we are getting whipped.
So we
you know, it is, and I like the questions that you ask us. And just to say, I have seen the pain that you go through when you have to deal with such. It is a physical pain for, like, it's just a pain that you carry, and that's why you're here for us.
And I was telling you about the concept of burdens. You know you are calling when you check what you're bothered by.
Yes.
What bothers you is what you're called to change.
Yeah.
And you should not imagine it's a pleasurable thing. It's tormenting. I read a question and I change my mood, and my wife says, "Why is now? Look, where now? What has happened?"
You carry it, and I like the way you see it, because you see it as a dream, as something that's been taken away, a star that is not shining as bright as it should.
What if the cure for corona was supposed to be made by a person who's busy cohabiting with a girlfriend?
No. Okay, now, yeah.
We suffer when you misbehave with your colleague. We all suffer. Look at WhatsApp was invented by a guy during depression. If we could have been depressed together with America's economy, where would WhatsApp be, which has changed all our lives? The guy was inventing Facebook, was busy exploring his gifts, was not trying to cohabit.
Hey.
When you align with the reason for your existence, everybody benefits. So we move from courtesy to sense of class. Now, what sense of class does to you is it makes you distinguished, makes you stand out. What does being distinguished have to do with being chosen? It's because you are never quite, although they told you you're the most beautiful, some people gave you superlatives. You're the most girl I've ever seen, they sang poetry. I'm not saying you should not believe it, but don't go too far with it. It's just to say... Mwigali, when we look at bare minimum, if you are reduced to bare minimum, there are other girls who are better than you.
That's true.
With nothing on you. So, there are other people who look like you when you don't do anything on yourself. You are beautiful. You should appreciate your natural beauty.
Yes.
But if you don't give yourself a distinctive sense of standing out, royalty and queendom, if you don't design something to yourself that stands out, you will be outshone constantly. If you live on bare minimum, you cannot compete, because there are other people with the same natural giftings, talents, and features like you. Remember that.
Yes.
That is one reason.
Yeah.
Marriage, dating, getting married requires class, because we're in a congested market, and given everything held constant, you can be outshone by others if you don't do anything on yourself.
That's true.
That's the basic way of reasoning. If you look at manufacturers of cars like Land Cruiser Prados, there are very many. It's the number they write behind that tells you which one is this. If you know cars, even by looking at the front, you can tell which one is. There is TX, VX, GA, whatever, TZ, G. But what they do is, what they add on top of the previous one, what they add on top of the previous one, what they add on top, the highest one is called Kakadu.
Okay.
You don't see it commonly because...
I've never heard of it. I'm embarrassing myself on your YouTube channel.
It's very rare.
Okay.
You are not wrong, it's very rare. I saw it with one person and it's a government car to sit because it's sold very highly. It's the cream de la cream. They put all the features now there, but it's at the top there. All right. So, but all of them, the baseline, the TX, the Toyota CTX is now the baseline. That's the Toyota with an engine and body.
Okay.
Sometimes they may put a sunroof, sometimes, but the air suspensions, the auto, I don't know what, the warmed seats, this one heated seat, this one. So they go adding features of luxury and class and distinct. They give it a different label, different price, different label, different price, different label, different price. You know, and sometimes they look at a market and look at your culture and your mentality. So they make it for you. There's a car called Toyota Camry. I studied Toyota because they're giants and they never stop inventing. And Mercedes-Benz. If you study those big giants and what keeps them on front, in front, why they're associated with class throughout. Because they can make a car, they call it Toyota Camry. Basically the same car as they would have made Mark X or Crown some other place, but they don't export it from America. They particularly, this is for you guys, we care about you that much. You understand your market.
Okay.
They pick the same features, give it a different name for another market.
Okay.
You too, you must think, who are you targeting to sell to? Now, dating is an interview. Trying to win somebody's confidence, trying to win a permanent job in somebody's life. Don't complicate it thinking it's just somehow happening. You must persuade somebody enough to choose you out of all the world. It's an interview, it's a selection. You need to win, you need to persuade. So those women, I can't change my life to impress women. You're asking me to impress men. You're asking me to change my life for the sake of men. Now, I am me. I'll just be. Woo. Why do you change clothing when you go for interview? You want to win the interviewers. You want to persuade them that you're the one for the job. You don't always live the way you are on the, even on the way I'm on the show, I don't live like this. I sleep, my friend, I eat, I relax, I have another life. But on the show, I have to play the role. In order to win, to be the husband, you have to play the role of husband. You have to impress enough that woman to choose you of all the men in the world. Impress that man enough to choose you. So the following things you must do. Stinginess, what it does, it holds back the resources we need to impress, to implement class, to distinguish you. That is the first problem. Reluctance to spend. And people are justified as economy. There are even men who think, if you want to know that she's true, give her nothing, so that she will still love you. Generosity is what attracts sociability. When you're not generous, there's no flow. We may meet, and although I was willing, the meeting is dry. It does not have facilities and pleasantries that make it flow. The places we meet, sometimes they need money. The cup of coffee in Garden City is not the same as on the street. Into Rivers it will cost different. The same Burger King and another street guy there. It's different. If you're so reluctant to spend that you can't go to that place at a sense of class and romance, then there'll be no connection. The same two people. You refuse to invest in the environment. We never then flow. Whenever I was doing first dates, I identified areas that had a sense of quietness and class. And that I could afford by playing around with the dynamics. If you don't stay inside the hotel, you just stay in the grass with just one cup of soda, something that is quite, but they don't charge the grass. If you, so I had maneuvered around.
It's not Uhuru Park.
You know what I mean? No, not Uhuru Park. Yeah. So the place is quiet, romantically suggestive. You can be free. While I cut, so I, with thinking and budget and sense of class and understanding, I could meet both. And that's how I ended up winning. Some people will not go to those places because they're expensive. This place is so expensive. TRM, oh no, TRM is too expensive. Oh, I'm moving 300 shillings. Oh my God, I can pay 50 shillings for the same. That CD is 30 shillings in fact. Because of the environment in that movie. Because of the environment in that safari park. Even if the bottle of soda is 5 and I don't care what it is. The fact that we are not many of us here. It's not a buzz like a beehive. There's no noise. We can actually laugh and talk and imagine and dream because I'm doing a pitch. When you date, you're pitching. as a man especially, pitch what you're inviting her for an agenda. You know, so I needed an environment that can do a pitch and picture the idea of a big life. They can't do that somewhere in Mukuru Koruben, in a hotel, somewhere eating chapati madodo. You can eat there, no problem. Circumstances are different. But when I need to sell a vision of a place I want to take you, I need a place that can easier to picture it.
Yes.
Although we came on a matatu, you see that Range Rover would drive with those words. So, so I can take you to a place where it's only tuk-tuk and I'm talking Range Rover. I want to stimulate you to think. You know, so the one way to hold you back because you are reluctant to invest in what will have established connection and helped you paint the picture you are selling.
Okay.
A good environment is a whiteboard for you to draw the dream on. You see a building like that one? Now, just imagine this one now. That's the language I used to use, by the way. That's what I used. I was saying I wanted illustrations for my pointers because I have it in my head and I want to transport it to your head to make you get it. Even that girl who said whether it was an exam that she was overwhelmed, she got headache, it was too tiresome, it was too intense. I had still done a successful pitch just to the wrong candidate. So I just learned how to turn, to mix it here and there, but still transport because I can't undersell. Then you come in and you say you are defeated. Better be defeated by the interview, but to be defeated by the real task.
That's true.
The second way to hold you back is because you end up being the miser. The first person they are mean to is themselves.
That is true.
So it ends up presenting a degraded version of yourself to the world. Dressed in a very shabbily way. They hardly invest in good clothing. Not done those details that make you pop. Not having reached out for that thing that sets you apart. So you end up looking more average than you really are. It is hiding your sense of excellence. It is presenting a not polished version of you. It ends up underselling you because you did not pay for the fineness, the finishing, the polishing, the final touch that gives you distinctive look.
Yeah.
Let's repeat. The first problem with being mean and stingy is that you never invest in an environment that facilitates your acceptability by creating good connection and giving pointers and illustrations to the dreams you have and giving an environment of romantic assistance. Some environments are just romantically more inviting. They're not crowded. They have nature. They have environment. They have, everything there is suggestive of a good life.
Okay.
And romance is playful and that's what we need. If you're living in a congested life or deprived, where everything is congested, we are too many in the hotel, too many in the space, too congested on the road, too this, you can't even hear each other, can't communicate, can't flow. It will not help you, it will hinder the marketing of the vision. Sometimes you call and you have to disconnect because the person picked the call, but where they are is too noisy. The space is not conducive for me passing the message. Avoid, you should spend in a space that will allow you to sell the vision. Absolutely. The second way is you have several versions of yourself. And the version that pops, that shines, requires fineness, fine finishing.
That's true.
Touch here and there. A good lip gloss here, a good earring there, a good dress over there, that polished side of you needs investment. And if you are minimalist to avoid spending, you think, the shoe of 500, no, this one is 400, give me the one for 400. Get the one for 500, that touch, that a glow. You saved 500 and you lost the glow. So you're still wearing a shoe, but you're not glowing. And so you will not be able to win that persuasively. The third and last way is people fear that you will starve them when you're always afraid of spending. Starve them of attention. Starve them even of food itself. Starve them of good life. Starve them, confine them to a small space. It makes you appear like you're intending to live a small life. Large life requires liberality. Liberality does not mean wastefulness. No. It means willingness to go the extra mile, to try, risk more. Sometimes you just want to move around. And it's not that we have floating money for fuel. Sometimes you can even fully use that money for fuel. But we have set it in our mind, we must travel, we must expose ourselves. So determine, where are we going today? Let's go this direction. We go that day, we find nothing. Do we regret we wasted the money? No. The attempt itself is what we are trying to catch. One day we find very resourceful exposure, very good buildings, very good area, very good lessons, very good people, quality people. Of the 10 trips, only 2 might have been very resourceful.
Yes.
But we keep on doing, the ones that were resourceful change our lives.
Yes.
The ones that were not built up to the ones that were. So it's not wastefulness. It's a lifestyle of exploration and desiring excellence and exposing ourselves. That girl says she loves traveling. I told her, me, I've not been traveling. I love exposure. If left alone, I won't travel because it looks like it's tiresome.
Yeah.
But I know when I travel, I'll see the world in other places. You will help me move around.
Yes.
You want the traveling, I want the exposure.
Okay.
A good match.
Yes.
So I had read somewhere that reading books, it's what traveling is.
Yes.
When you read books, you're perusing pages of the world as you move around.
Yes.
So because I love learning, let's move around and learn. So it's that rule to say you can live a large life when you have a liberal spirit. When you are confined, and I've met many women, we discuss them next, especially women in mid-30s and above. Many of them, it's this problem that has delayed them. They've been trying to marry for 10 years and successful because they live in a small space. They won't invest in travel. They won't invest in airtime. They won't stay online. They can't keep their WhatsApp bundles on when they're out of work because they don't want to invest there. They spend work, office, Wi-Fi. They can't invest in anything to stay reachable. They can't mount a photo because it's 2,000 and no more. Photo should be 20 shillings. They cut down on everything until they look tiny. To promise a large life, you have to be liberal spirit. Yes.
Stinginess. That was the conversation. And as we summarize this, what we're saying is confront your meanness and loosen up. Start small. Practice taking risks with giving. Believe that as you share, it will come back to you, and that the pain you feel when you give is the pleasure the receiver feels. This attitude will open you up to meet quality people and build rich connections, because suddenly you are emitting an energy of richness rather than scarcity. He does not eat his way.